Welcome everyone to the second unit, Bhakti Shastri. We're going to do Īśopaniṣad. I did forward some material to you. Did you get it? Did you get the documents?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, everyone has it? You've all read it? You've gone through it?
We received late, Maharaj.
Huh? Did you read it yet?
Not yet, Maharaj. We received late. Today only we received.
Well, I want you to try to keep up with the course, you know, as we go along, because there's going to be a lot of things. I want you to be very careful to try to keep up with everything. So otherwise it will make it very difficult if you fall behind. I know it's not a very big book, and there's not a lot of things in the book, but what is there is very meaningful. Okay, so we're going to begin on this Īśopaniṣad. We have, usually when we meet, I will have only 10 classes, but this time, because we're only having 1.5 hours every evening, so there will be 20 classes maybe, or we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll do less. Okay, I'm going to put on my PowerPoint and introduce you to some of the material, some of the points on this. We're covering this evening, we're going to begin with the introduction to the book. Does everyone have a copy of the book, by the way? You have a text, either soft or hard?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, so all of you may have already read through that introductory essay.
So that you.
Introductory essay, Introduction to the Vedas, a lecture given by Srila Prabhupada, 1973, in London, at the Conway Hall. Quite a big, prestigious hall. The devotees arranged a series of lectures for Srila Prabhupada, and some of the titles of the lectures were given by Guru Das and some were given by Srila Prabhupada. Anyway, when they published the Īśopaniṣad, you see, Srila Prabhupada had already written essays on the Īśopaniṣad previously in India, before he'd even gone to America. He'd already written his commentaries on each of the mantras. You all know how many mantras are in the Īśopaniṣad? How many mantras? Who knows? Ram Gopinath Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Maharaj.
How many mantras in the Īśopaniṣad?
18, Maharaj?
Yes, right. The same as in the Bhagavad Gita, right? 18 chapters in the Bhagavad Gita, 18 mantras in the Īśopaniṣad. There's one other mantra there, the invocation. Actually, that invocation mantra is not officially a part of the Īśopaniṣad, but it was put there, Prabhupada put there. I think maybe other commentators also put there when they commented on Īśopaniṣad. So Prabhupada also did it. And then when Prabhupada got to America and he wanted to publish the book, so Prabhupada, he had that lecture from Conway Hall also put in there as the introduction to the book, to show the relevance of this book to the Vedic knowledge. You know, we often speak about the Vedas, right? We're presenting the Vedas. We always say we're followers of the Vedas. We're presenting the Vedic knowledge. We're going to look at what actually is the Vedas. So let's go to the PowerPoint. We'll just Okay, can everyone see? Is
Yes, Maharaj.
everyone can see the part?
Maharaj, we all can see Maharaj, very clear.
Okay, very good. Let's see. Śrī Īśopaniṣad course, right? Okay, so that's the traditional cover we like to put on the Śrī Īśopaniṣad. So the first lesson will be the introduction. Doesn't mean we'll cover everything, but you know, that's the first part. We begin with the introduction, and then next lesson will be on the invocation, that Om Purnam mantra. I think you have only 2 memorization mantras for your Bhakti Shastri. I think the invocation and the first mantra. Okay, so you can see something of the breakdown of the mantras. We'll be going through the mantras one by one. We'll introduce you to the meaning. So lesson 1, introduction. Prabhupada is speaking about the Vedas, and he begins talking about proof, because everyone wants to know, is there God? Not everybody believes in God. What's the proof? What's the proof that what you say is right? You're using scriptures, you have your books. That's one kind of proof. So Prabhupada talks about there's different kinds of evidence, right? The word pramana, evidence. So there are 3 different kinds of evidence. The first one is with the senses. We use our senses to perceive everything. From your, of course, you have not studied the Bhagavad Gita fully yet, have you? You've only done Nectar of Devotion, but all of you are familiar with Bhagavad Gita. So you know in the Bhagavad Gita, there are knowledge acquiring senses. There's also working senses. The working senses, they don't give us any of this direct sense perception. We get the direct sense perception from the knowledge acquiring senses, right? So who knows, who can be, is Narayan there? Narayan?
Yes, Maharaj, I'm here. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
So you can tell us, what are the what are the senses, the 5 senses which give us knowledge?
The eyes, the
eyes,
ears,
the ears,
and, smell and touch,
the nose, the skin, yeah? One more. The one we enjoy the most.
the tongue.
Yeah, right, the tongue. Okay, so these are the 5 senses. We get knowledge from them, right? We get knowledge from the eyes. We say, people even say, we have a saying, is it seeing is believing, right? Have you heard that before? You see something, oh, it must be, I saw it, I believe. If you can see it, believe it. So people say, if I can see God, I believe in him. They want to see. So it's one kind of evidence. But are our eyes perfect? Some people, in some philosophies, they say God is so big, you can't get far away enough to see him because he's so big. And other times they may say God is so small, you can't see him. So our eyes are very limited. We cannot see in the dark. I don't know about you, I need eyeglasses to see, to read often. If the light is no good, I have to get my glasses, put glasses on and read. Our eyes are very limited what we can see. So we don't really get such good knowledge from the eyes. The cat can see in the dark. We cannot see in the dark. So our eyes are not perfect. And then the sense of smell, it's a very relative thing. Not some people have a very powerful sense of smell, like animals, insects. They have strong sense of smell. Human beings, it's not so strong, not so powerful. Many animals have much stronger sense of smell. And then the sense of hearing. Our hearing, especially as we get old, the hearing often goes, you have to get a hearing aid. But some animals, they can hear very carefully. They're very, very quick. They can hear very small, faint sounds. We see the animals often much better. Their senses are much more powerful than the humans. Our senses are very limited. So we don't get such good knowledge. Our eyes, our nose, our hearing, and then the tongue. The tongue is also sometimes you taste something, it tastes very sweet, but because you had something bitter, then you take something else, what appears sweet. When you take something bitter, then you take something sweet, then it doesn't taste so sweet. And so the different tastes, our tongue is influenced by the earlier taste. It influences how we perceive a taste. And skin also. So that's sense perception, not perfect. The second type of evidence, anuman, hypothesis. Can anybody give me a hypothesis? Would you like to give me an example? What is a hypothesis? Maybe you could state some kind of hypothesis yourself. May not be real. Would you like to, anybody could offer a hypothesis?
A scientific theory, Maharaj?
Yeah, can you give me something? What is what hypothesis do the scientists state? Can you
that
give
we
me?
came from monkeys?
Huh?
That we came from monkeys?
Well, okay, they may say like that. Yeah, that it's like a theory, the evolution theory, that we've evolved from the animal, from lower species of life. Okay, that's a theory, speculative theory, right? A hypothesis. Any other kind of hypotheses which are current today? Prabhupada preached a lot about life. Where does it come from? What do the scientists say?
Darwin's theory, Maharaj?
What's the scientific explanation of life? Where does it come from? Oh, you say from the monkeys, it evolved. Where did the monkeys come from? Someone?
Some tell Big Bang theory, Maharaj.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. Big Bang theory, that's a good hypothesis. Sometimes they also say from the black hole or from the white hole, or sometimes they simply say life comes from chemicals. So many different speculative theories are there, right? But where's the proof? Where's the evidence? It's another kind of theory. But another kind of evidence is shabda, which means sound, and it means to hear from the authority. So Srila Prabhupada, in introducing the Vedic knowledge, he brought out this point, first of all, that you get real knowledge by hearing from an authority. Who can give an example? What example would you give to establish the importance of hearing? Sachinandan, are you there? You can tell me. What about your mother?
Hearing, Parlala,
Yeah.
Prasid Maharaj.
Prabhupada gives the example, you want to find out who is your father, right? How do we find out who is our father?
We ask our mom.
From mother.
Yeah, you should do. Should ask your mom, yeah. She would know, right? If you go to every man and inquire, are you my father? Are you my father? Are you my father? Will take a long time, right? So many men, you have to go around everyone to try to find out who's your father. That's a very long, arduous way. But if you go to the mother, mother can immediately say who is the father. So this is the example Prabhupada would often give to show the importance of hearing. It also indicates the advantage of taking knowledge in the descending manner, coming down, not trying to climb up. There's two ways, right? There's ascending or descending. So ascending knowledge is to go around every man to try to find out who's the father, will take a long time. But the descending process, you go to the authority, they can immediately tell you. So this is the idea. This is how we establish that shabda or sound, hearing is very important. Hearing from the authority. Okay, here's a nice example to show the problem with the senses, trying to use our senses to understand the object. This is the story of the blind man, and they're massaging the elephant. The blind man have been placed at the elephant, right? One man is holding the leg. What is he thinking the leg is like?
Like a tree.
Yes, he's thinking it's like a tree. Another man's holding the tail, and he thinks the tail is what?
A rope.
Okay, like a rope, yeah. And someone, you can see the other man just on the side there, he's got both his arms rubbing on the side there of the elephant. He's thinking, this is...
Wall.
What?
It's a wall.
What's it like?
Wall, Maharaj. Brick wall.
Huh?
Bricks.
Yeah, not just bricks, but they're put together to make a...
Brick wall.
Yes, a brick wall.
Brick
Thank
wall,
you.
yeah.
Right, making a wall. It's a wall. And then someone else is sitting on top of the elephant. He's got the ears of the elephant. So what does he think the ears are?
The weapon, like an X.
Yeah, or we could think even the ears are like some kind of fan, you know, like a peacock fan or something. And then the man has got the tusk. He's got the holding the two tusks. He's thinking they're like the arrow, all right? And here the other man is on the ground, he's holding the trunk. He's thinking the trunk is like
a snake.
yeah, like a snake. Or you could see, sometimes we would say like a water hose, a hose or something. So are they wrong?
No.
Are they all wrong in their description of the elephant?
No, they are right.
Yeah, they're right. Yes, they're each right. But what's the problem?
They don't see the whole picture.
Right. They don't see the whole picture. They're only describing one part of the elephant. Right? They're only describing one part. They're not wrong, but it's not complete. You have to put the whole thing together to get the overall picture. The same way, when we want to understand the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, we want to understand the whole picture, not just only a part of Him, but the whole picture. It's an important point to be understood. Okay, so the blind men, they understand a part. The same way we want to understand this knowledge of the Absolute Truth. It's coming in the disciplic succession. From Bhagavad Gita, Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Raja Sheovidu. From Lord Krishna to Brahma to Narada to Vyas to the present day, Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya. He's passing on the knowledge through the line of authority, through the disciplic succession. So it's important for us to hear, to understand everything in the proper manner through the disciplic succession. Okay, so using knowledge, the problem is we get some knowledge, we just use our own mind and senses to get knowledge. We have a problem because we are conditioned souls. We're not liberated souls, we are conditioned souls. Two levels of souls, right? There are the liberated souls who are all perfect. Now the liberated souls, they don't have any defects. However, we're not liberated souls. I don't know, are you? Any of you liberated there tonight?
No, Maharaj.
Okay.
Definitely.
That we're not liberated, that means we have defects. And there are 4 defects of the conditioned souls. This kind of knowledge, very basic, should be committed to memory. First one is commit mistakes. We have a saying, to err is human. We say it's human nature to make a mistake. Nobody's perfect, right? We say like that. Of course, there are people who are perfect. They're called liberated souls. We're not. We make mistakes. Have you ever made a mistake? Ram Gopinath, did you ever make a mistake?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, we all make mistakes, right? What mistakes do we make? Or sometimes we maybe we turn the wrong way, we go on the road, we drive the wrong way, we break some traffic law or something, make some mistake. Sometimes you say the wrong thing. Sometimes you do the wrong thing. Put your money somewhere, you lose all your money. We make mistakes. You trust someone, you give him recommendation, or you may even give him money, they never give it back to you. You make these kind of mistakes. It's nature. Sometimes we're just doing some calculation and we get it wrong. We make a mistake. Sometimes we spell something wrong. Typing, you make a lot of mistakes typing. At least I do. I don't know about you. Okay, second defect, illusion. We are conditioned souls, so we're subject to illusion. That illusion may be thinking, first of all, what's the big illusion everyone's in?
Yeah, the body.
Yes, we think we're the body. That's the illusion. Any other illusions, Maharaji? Yeah? Anybody else? Some other illusion?
Imperfect senses.
No, but I want illusion. I'm talking about illusion. What's your illusion?
You're thinking we are the doer. Is it illusion, Maharaj?
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, nice. We think, I'm the doer. I did it. I did it. We have a lot of illusions about life. We're thinking, I will live forever. Nobody thinks I'm going to die. We're thinking I'm young, but quickly we become old. We think I'm very clever, intelligent, but we may not be. It's often an illusion. Number 3, cheating propensity.
Eating propensity.
Yeah. Somebody has to turn their mic off. Okay, number 3, cheating propensity. Defects of the conditioned soul. Like, we may be cheated. Have you ever been cheated?
Yes.
Really?
As Maharaj, when you were young.
Yeah, often. Often the young ladies get cheated. The young man tells her, I love you, I love you. You know, that kind of thing. But then he won't marry her. So this cheating goes on in the material world. A lot of cheating. Business, there's a lot of cheating. We have to check everything very carefully. You buy a new car, you think it's a new car, you find out it's not a new car, it's an old car. You may be cheated. And sometimes we're cheated, sometimes we cheat ourselves. We cheat others, sometimes we cheat ourselves. That's another kind of illusion. Cheat. So that cheating nature is there in the material world due to our conditioned nature. And then finally, the imperfect senses, which we spoke about. The eyes, imperfect. We look up at the sun, doesn't look very big. But of course, it's a whole planet. We look at something in the water, it doesn't look very deep, but it's much deeper than we think, due to the eyes, the effect of the eyes, imperfect senses. We'll give some examples to show you imperfect senses. Let's see. Here's the Sanskrit word for these different propensities, defects, which are there. This is all stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, taken from Adi Lila, chapter 2. Okay, so commit mistakes is Brahma. Brahma means making mistakes, errors. Illusion, pramada, can be also madness. Cheating propensity, vipralipsa. And imperfect senses, karana apatava. So these 4 defects are there in the conditioned soul. Here's a famous picture. Maybe many of you may have seen this before. Is this a young woman or is this the old woman? Now someone looks at this picture and they see, you know, the old woman with the bigger nose and the big chin on the bottom there. And someone else looks at the picture and they see the young woman. And she's got this kind of braid around her throat. And you can just see the corner of her eye there. So it's an interesting example of how our senses can trick us. Someone sees the old woman, they're right. Someone else sees a young woman, they're also right. It's how we look at the picture. In that picture, both the young and the old woman are there. We have to understand. Another example, optical illusion. The square, which is put through the circle. Yes? Question? The square which is put through the circles, it looks like they're bent. The lines look like they're bent, but actually they're not. They're straight. It's straight lines, but they don't look straight due to the circles which they're penetrating. So this is optical illusion. Our eyes have that problem. We don't always see things. Another example, you can see the line. These lines running across are parallel and equal distance, but they don't look it due to the effect of the different lines coming through it. They look like they're all twisted, different directions, but actually they're all parallel. So this is optical illusion. Our eyes are not perfect. We make mistakes. This looks like it's moving. It appears to have motion. The different circles within each center, you can see they appear like they're almost rotating there, like they have motion. It's another illusion. Our eyes have that defect that we don't see perfectly. Here's another one. Oh, let's go back. The man is making a mistake. He's meant to go on the plane. He's going on up the wrong stairs. So making a mistake. So 4 defects of conditioned souls. And because of those defects, that's why we don't get perfect knowledge from our own self, depending on our own self. We're not the source of perfect knowledge. We need to therefore take shelter. We need to hear from the authorities. This is a question which I want you to think about. How many of you have taken the disciple course? Everyone?
I have taken Maharaj.
I have taken Maharaj. How should we?
Hare Krishna? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Maharaj. We can hear you, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj, we can hear you, Maharaj.
But cannot see you, Maharaj.
You're hearing me, I'm not hearing you so well.
We can hear you, Maharaj.
Okay. So we'll go. You can hear me?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Kripa?
We can hear you. Yes, Maharaj.
Can
Can hear you,
okay?
Maharaj.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I was asking, how many of you, has anybody not taken the disciple course who's in this Bhakti Shastri class? Maybe, must be some of you.
Put a hand up. Put a hand up.
Yes, I have not completed that class.
Okay. And this is something which is often discussed in the disciple course, because we're sentimental devotees. We're often guided by our own mind and senses, and sometimes we don't think about things, how they affect others. So it's an important thing, an important point which we want you to think about in the course of this evening and tomorrow. Before we meet again tomorrow evening, I'd like you to think about this. How should we express devotion to our spiritual master in a public place, at maybe a public program, in front of a large number of people who are not devotees? Often, for example, we know Janmashtami or some big function like that. You get a lot of people coming to the temple, Kuala Lumpur. Not everybody's a devotee. Well, they have some devotion. They're coming to attend the program. And they may witness our devotion for our Guru. So there has to be some proper standard of how we should express our Guru Bhakti, these public programs. Because sometimes people, they're a little shocked when they see us, that, how they worship their Guru. It's an interesting topic. We'll come back to this question. We'll go ahead. We're not going to be able to do this because we're in the virtual presentation here. We're doing it all online. we're in different places. But I would like you to think, I would like you to consider yourself, what are some examples of these 4 defects? Let's go back again, see these 4 defects. Would someone like to give some example, maybe not necessarily of yourself, but of somebody you know who made a big mistake, committed a mistake? Can we ask someone who hasn't spoken so far to give us an example of a mistake someone made, which maybe caused him a lot of trouble, got a big problem?
Hare Krishna
Yeah.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, the commit mistake, one of the example is when we carry out our duty, doing arati or anything, so we can also make some mistakes.
What mistake would you make when you do arti? Tell me.
Okay.
Maybe you offer the conch, you offer the hanky before you offer the conch, the water.
Yes,
in the conch.
yes, exactly.
You get the order wrong or something when you're doing the arti, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, that's a nice example. Yeah, you commit a mistake. Yeah, it's not a serious mistake, but a mistake, you made a mistake. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else can think of something? One lady, let's hear from the Maharajas. A mistake? Maharajas? You don't make mistakes? Now I'm sure you all cook. Do you ever make mistakes when you cook?
Yes, Maharaj.
Tell me what you did, what you could do. Maybe you didn't do it, but just give an example.
While cooking, sometimes we want to, the food may be something sweet, but maybe we wrongly add in salt inside.
Yes, very true. That's it. You put the salt, you think it's sugar.
Yes.
Somebody did that with the Charanamrita one time. Srila Prabhupada was in the temple and he came to take the Charanamrita and he said, "Oh, this has got salt in it." Prabhupada was not pleased. He said, "Who's done this?" And then they got some person who did it. Prabhupada told the temple manager, he said, "Get someone responsible to do it in future." So you have to be very careful. You're doing things like Charanamrita, especially when the spiritual teacher is there. You don't want to put salt. All right, we'll go on to the second one, illusion. Some examples. Nobody like to admit their illusions. We just want examples, it doesn't have to be real, but some example of illusion. He's in illusion.
Maharaj, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so there is, we have the real, the story from the scriptures that states on how Maharaja Yudhishthir and Yamaraj had the conversation on what is the biggest illusion in the material world, and then the answer was that the biggest illusion is actually to think that when you see somebody die, and then you think that is not going to happen to me. That is the biggest illusion that someone has in the material world. That is one story that we have.
No.
And the other one that I can think of is right now we have all these practical things that's happening in the material world. We have all these bogus gurus who claim themselves to be God. Like it started off with Sai Baba, and then we have this Nityananda Swami. He put all this universal planetary system at the back of his, and then he put all this, he wear the costumes of Lord Shiva, and he thinks that he's God. He claims that, and then he gives all this, he manipulates the scriptures, and he does also nonsense. So that is one sort of illusion that people believe that this guy could be God. So that is something.
I think that's a good cheating one, that one, the one.
Oh, okay, all right.
That might be cheating, yeah. But your illusion one, yeah, very nice example you're giving, that people don't think they're going to die, but we all have to go there. We have to go. That's one temple we all go to, right? The temple of Yamaraj at the time of death. So cheating, Maharaji gave very nice example there. People cheating, pretending they're God, they're incarnations of God, like that.
Maharaj, the magicians, how about the magicians? Is it illusion?
Which one?
The magicians.
Magicians. Magicians, they do some magic trick. Yeah. They bring some money out of your ear or something. Right? Yeah, by magic, they can bring it out from their ear. They can do these kind of things. So they have people they cut them up. It appears like they put saws and everything through them, but actually it's just an illusion. So there are a lot of illusions like that. But we were talking more about the mental illusion. That's a more visual illusion. But the illusion can be also in the mind, that we're thinking I'm very great, I'm very important, I'm very necessary. We think, how can the world ever go on if I'm not there? We have that illusion. We're thinking we're so very important, but we're so very insignificant, actually. So this is the illusion. Prabhupada told the story to one devotee. He was a big manager in the temple in Los Angeles, and Prabhupada told him how the material world is 1/4 of the spiritual world, but there are unlimited numbers of planets in the material world, unlimited numbers of universes, and in each universe is unlimited number of planets, and on this one planet, in one universe, there's one planet Earth, and on Earth there's one place called America, and in America there's one city called Los Angeles, and in Los Angeles there's so many roads and so many streets, and there's one street called Watseka Avenue, and on Watseka Avenue it's a big long road, there are many houses, many people living there, but there's this one temple at 3764 Watseka Avenue, and in this Watseka Avenue there are many devotees, but this one devotee, he's thinking he is the supreme controller. So like that, Prabhupada's pointing out the illusion which devotees often have. Illusion, that we're in illusion about our significance, our importance. And then the cheating propensity, Maharaji gave a very nice example there about bogus incarnations. Any other cheating propensity going on?
How about the businessmen, Maharaj?
Yes. What are they doing?
They tell the goods are very good. Or you tell it's very cheap, actually it's not cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Maharaj, that Maharaj, regarding the political leaders, they promises a lot of things, and in the end, they don't fulfill their promises.
Yes, right. Yeah, politicians, very good. They promise us so much, but they cannot fulfill their promises. Good. All right. And then finally, imperfect senses. Some example.
You cannot remember things.
Imperfect senses. You're parking your
Our eyes,
car,
Maharaj.
and you think you can park it. And
Sometime.
imperfect senses. Somebody's driving the car, parking the car. You may park it, and you think you can park it, but you hit something.
Sometime. நீங்க P3 ஓட பாத்தீங்களா முத?
If you can mute, please mute your microphone, please.
Sometimes we have the
Someone
memory
can
of
give
a
example.
goldfish.
We want what?
Sometimes we have the memory of goldfish. We just read the purport and we forgot about it. Just in 5 minutes later, we forgot the content about it.
You mean
Imperfect
you
memory.
read something and you forget it all? You
Yeah.
can't remember it.
Yeah.
Okay. Short-term memory, maybe. You meet someone and then, oh, did I meet you? I don't remember meeting you. You know, it happens to me often. You know, people say, "Oh, I met you." Oh, really? You know, I don't remember, because you meet a lot of people. Okay, so 4 defects. Has everyone got them clear?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
No questions on this? Okay, so we're talking here now. What does Prabhupada say in the introduction? We quote here from Prabhupada's lecture. With all these deficiencies, we cannot give perfect knowledge to anyone, nor are we ourselves perfect. Therefore, we accept the Vedas as they are. Everyone knows the meaning of the word Veda. What does Veda mean?
Various scriptures, Maharaj.
Yeah, I want to know the meaning of the word Veda. What does it mean?
Knowledge.
It's knowledge, Maharaj.
Knowledge.
Thank you, Prabhu. Knowledge. Right. Veda means knowledge. So Veda is knowledge. Everything is there in the Veda. Please mute your microphone. Some of you people, you have to mute your microphone. So the Vedas, they're dealing with the fruitive activities. Vedas are mainly dealing with what we call karma, the karma kandi activities, how we can enjoy the results of the work. So fruitive activities, Vedas talk about this. what you need to do to get a good family, what you need to do to make a lot of money, what you need to do to go to heaven, to enjoy life more. The Vedas tell us all this kind of knowledge. So the Vedas deal mostly with fruitive activity to gradually elevate public from the field of sense gratification, karma, to a position on the transcendental plane. Right? The Vedas are working towards that, to bring us up to the transcendental plane, to bring us away from sense gratification. From the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, verse 45, Prabhupada talks about the Upanishads there. Does everyone know the meaning of Upanishad? Someone can tell me, what does the word Upanishad mean? Nobody know? Yes?
Supplementary scriptures, Mother.
I can't hear you, Prabhu.
Supplementary scriptures.
Yeah. I want to know what the word means, though. I know there's scriptures, but I want to know the meaning of the word, the literal meaning of the word, Upanishads.
Means that sitting down nearby, Guru Maharaj.
The Supreme Lord.
It means sitting down nearby.
Seated closer to the Supreme Lord.
I'm sorry, your voice is breaking. I cannot hear.
It means sitting down nearby, Guru Maharaj.
Maharaj is to acquire
Line is very
knowledge near
unstable.
to a guru.
Okay, okay, that's good. The knowledge which brings one, closer. The knowledge which brings one closer to understanding the truth, the absolute truth, right?
Yes,
This
Maharaj.
is the meaning of Upanishad, that knowledge which brings one closer. In fact, if you look at the Īśopaniṣad, if you have a hard copy, you'll see there's a subtitle. And just below Śrī Īśopaniṣad, on the inside cover, usually they will print the subtitle. And the subtitle of the Īśopaniṣad is that knowledge which brings one closer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Upanishads bring us closer. From the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada describes, when the activities for sense gratification, namely karma kanda, are finished, when the karma kanda activities are finished, then the chance for spiritual realization is offered in the form of the Upanishads. Upanishads mark the beginning of transcendental life, right? The beginning. Transcendental. It's not the highest knowledge, but it's the beginning of transcendental life. So, Īśopaniṣad is one of the Upanishads, and it's the most famous of the Upanishads. So, Prabhupada describes here that the Upanishads mark the beginning of transcendental life, different from karma kanda, from material activities. Okay, so now we're seeing Now we're seeing, do you all have this map, this diagram in your student handbook? Hare Krishna? Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Oh, you're there. Okay, good. Hare Krishna. Do you have this diagram of the Vedas, the Vedic knowledge?
Yes, Maharaj, I have it. Yes, Maharaj.
Can you see it? Can you see my diagram?
Yes, yes, Maharaj, we can see.
Okay. Now I think if you look in your student handbook, this diagram should be there in your student handbook. You can notice there, on the top, we have the Vedic knowledge.
Page 103.
Okay, page 103 in your student handbook. You will notice there are two headings. On the left side is the Shruti, and on the right side we have the Smriti. Right? The Shruti is describing the original Vedas. The Vedas are there. You can see Vedas. Original four Vedas, meaning Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Atharva Veda. Four Vedas. And also you have the Upanishads. We're studying one of the Upanishads. We're studying the Īśopaniṣad. Īśopaniṣad. Isha means the Upanishad about the Supreme Lord. Isha means Ishvara, the Supreme Lord. So there are many Upanishads, but we're studying the most famous of the Upanishads, the Īśopaniṣad. Prabhupada writes, actually there's 11 Upanishads which are very popular, which are available, which are known today. But of the 11, it's the Īśopaniṣad which is the most well known. So we have two columns, the Shruti and the Smriti. Shruti means hearing, that knowledge which comes from the Supreme Lord, described there. Revealed absolute truth. Every word unchanged eternally. That's the Vedas. Now the Shruti is meant to be, it's the property really of the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas are the one to recite the Vedas. If one is not a Brahmana, then he's considered unqualified to recite the Vedas. So that's why traditionally you'd have the Brahmanas who would sit and they could be hired to recite different Vedas for us to hear. And you can see the different divisions of the Vedas. There's, as well as the Upanishads, you have the Vedangas, and then you have the Samhitas and the Brahmanas, which are also, but they're about the rituals and mantras And you have the Aranyakas and Upanishads. So many different parts of the Vedas are there. Kalpa, Shiksha, Vyakarna, Nirukta, Chandas, Jyotish. Jyotish is about the astronomy rather. It's more well known. So this is all the Shruti, which is eternal, never changes. But on the other side, we have the Smriti. The Shruti is like the mother. We said, you want to know about the father? You have to ask the mother. And the Smriti is like a sister. The sister hears everything from the mother. So the Smriti is a little different from the 4 Vedas. The Smriti is made up of things like the mentioned here, the Puranas, the Itihasas, Pancharatras, Tantras, all of these different kinds of things. You have also Mahabharata. Now, Mahabharata is not really Shruti, although Mahabharata is sometimes called the 5th Veda. But it's not one of the original Vedas, because Mahabharata is written by Vyasadeva. So we want you to understand a little of the nature of the Vedic knowledge. There are two divisions, the Shruti and the Smriti. One time, devotees were in Berkeley in California, and the devotees wanted to have a program in the University of California there at Berkeley. And one of the professors there from the Asian studies, he didn't like it. He objected to it. He said, oh, it's just sentimental, just chanting and singing. But Prabhupada explained to him, he said, well, he said, you may be following Shruti, but we accept Smriti. And you see, there are certain people who only accept the Shruti. They won't accept the Smriti. So if they don't accept the Smriti, means they don't accept the Puranas. That means they don't accept Bhagavad Gita even. They will accept only the 4 Vedas and the Upanishads. They will accept only these things because these books, this knowledge, those scriptures are eternal. But the Smriti is written, it's compiled by great sages in the course of time. Just like Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled 5,000 years ago. Srila Vyasadeva wrote the Puranas and he wrote Mahabharata, these things. But the Vedas are much older than that. So some scholars, they will only accept Shruti. They will not accept Smriti. Therefore, sometimes when Prabhupada is writing a purport, he will say, he will give a verse from the Vedas, Vedic evidence to support his point. If Prabhupada wants to make a point, he will sometimes say, in the Vedas, it is said, and then he will quote some Upanishad. This is very important. Those of you who are preaching, you have to understand that some people will not accept Bhagavad Gita. They will not accept Puranas. They want to hear Vedic knowledge. And for them, Vedic knowledge means only the Shruti, only the 4 Vedas, only the Upanishads. You have to be able to quote from them. One of our devotees in America, Hridayananda Maharaj, he was preaching and he had to go and preach at one program where there was a smarter Brahmana, a Professor Bhartiya. Professor Bhartiya, he means a Brahmana, and he was a professor of Asian studies, and he was giving a lecture, and Hridayananda Maharaj was presenting. So Hridayananda Maharaj was speaking from Bhagavad Gita, and Professor Bhartiya, he was laughing. He could not accept this. Bhagavad Gita, this is not scripture, this is not Shruti. He wanted to hear from the Vedas. So then Hridayananda Maharaj then began to quote verses from the Shruti, because he doesn't just only know Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada has also trained us to know a very powerful verse to preach to people who don't accept the Supreme Lord. So if you look through Prabhupada's purports, you will see sometimes Prabhupada said Vedic evidence. He's quoting a Upanishad, which means from the Shruti department of Vedic knowledge, different from the Smriti. Okay, we're going to talk more about this tomorrow. I want to stop here now. Are there any questions? I want everybody who's coming, who's taking this class, I want you all to read that article, which I forwarded to you 2 days ago, about the significance of this book, Śrī Īśopaniṣad. Very important. I want you to read it and understand what is being said about why Prabhupada wrote this book, Śrī Īśopaniṣad. Why did Prabhupada present it? It's important for us to understand. So I think if you read this article, then tomorrow, when I will present this again to you about the Vedic knowledge, we'll look at the different departments of the Vedic knowledge, and we will understand how the Upanishads are important and why Srila Prabhupada presented this book for us, why he gave it to us to introduce Krishna consciousness. Okay, any questions there?
Maharaj, what is meaning by mythology, Maharaj?
Where is it, Prabhu?
No, they call mythology.
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 Mythology. Well, mythology means it's a story. It's not real. It's not true. It's just a story, a myth. A myth is something like, you know, somebody made it up. You know. That's mythology. So, of course, our scriptures, and some people make materialistic people, atheistic people, they may claim like that oh, Mahabharata is just mythology, it's not really true, it's not really a fact. They may say like that. They don't want to accept the reality of the scriptures, and they will deny it. They say, oh, it's just some story. We should understand the scriptures are not just fairy tales to put children to sleep. They're very important teachings. very important knowledge. We need to understand carefully. Any other question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, I have a question based on the table which was just presented. Actually, my question is, at the side of Smriti, they have written that it's composed by sages, and then below it they state that the wordings may change by age to age. My question is, this Smriti Vedas by Smriti is composed by sages, and then why did they state that the wordings may change from age by age? Isn't it supposed to be given as it is, like how Prabhupada gave Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, but according to time and circumstances, different civilizations come and go, then the wordings may change. They may present something in a different manner.
Okay.
People have different cultures, the cultures change. Just like people today, we have a very different culture from people, 100 years ago or 500 years ago. Cultures changed a lot, hasn't it?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, the cultures definitely changed. So that's why Prabhupada, he wrote the books for today. But if we try to read like Prabhupada's guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the books which he wrote, very difficult for us to understand. They're written for people on a higher level. They're written for people from a different time, a different civilization practically. And so we have a very difficult time trying to understand books by the previous acharyas. So it's important for us to hear from somebody like Prabhupada, who could write the book write books, the scriptures in a manner which could be understood by people at the present time. When we try to read the writings of the people from the past, it's much more difficult for us. It's really hard for us to understand what they're talking about. So we say, Prabhupada described, he said, oldest of all, but in new dress, miracle done, your divine grace. Prabhupada was describing his own spiritual master, that he put the teachings of Lord Chaitanya into a new dress, so that people could understand it and accept it. That was in the time of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And then Srila Prabhupada, he had to do the same thing when he began preaching also. He wrote his Srimad Bhagavatam, his Chaitanya Charitamrita, these books, Nectar of Devotion, very important books for us. And he wrote them in a manner which could be understood by everyone. You didn't have to be a devotee. You didn't have to be a big scholar to understand. Prabhupada could present the highest knowledge, and he could put it on the level of ordinary people. So, according to the time and circumstances. And as time goes on, in the future, we don't know. Although Prabhupada said his books would be good for 10,000 years, other people, they may find it difficult to read Prabhupada's books as it goes on. We have to even nowadays, people talk about writing bridge books, books which make it easier for them to understand Prabhupada's books, because sometimes they think Prabhupada's books are a little bit too deep, too philosophical, they can't understand. They try to read the Bhagavad Gita, it's beyond them. So they have great difficulty trying to understand it. So then the people want a bridge book, some book which is a little easier, which is maybe more of a story, something easier to understand, and to introduce the philosophy to them in that way. In that way, people can gradually come into Krishna consciousness. Understand, Maharaji?
Yes, Maharaj, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else has a question there? So we're going to go on tomorrow, again with the invocation, with the introduction, and if we have time, we'll go into the invocation. But please try to read the article, the document which we sent you. And look over the introduction, Prabhupada's lecture. Prabhupada is introducing the Vedas to people, the Vedic knowledge. The important point, that to take authority by hearing, right? We explained 3 kinds of evidence. Do you remember? Who can remember one? One kind of evidence was?
Direct perception.
Direct perception. What's the Sanskrit word? Pratyaksha, right, Pratyaksha. Okay, and then the second one?
Anumana.
Anumana.
What's Anumana? What is that?
Hypothesis.
In English, how would we describe it? Hypothesis, okay, yes. Or speculation, like that. And the third one?
Sabda.
Shabda Praman, right? Praman, evidence, the Shabda Praman. So Shabda means?
Sound.
From soul.
Hearing, right. I have to hear, right? That's important. And then 4 kinds of defects of the conditioned soul. Remember? 1?
Commit mistakes.
Make mistakes, right. Number 2?
Illusion.
Illusion, yeah. Number 3?
Cheating.
Tendency to cheat.
4?
Commit mistakes.
And the 4th is imperfect.
Imperfect senses.
Imperfect senses. Very good. Yes. This is the lesson tonight, right? And be able to give examples of each of the defects. Okay? We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna,
Thank
Maharaj.
you.
Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much.
Maharaj, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Krishna Maharaj.
Krishna Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you Maharaj.